Hey everybody! I'm here today to show you and tell you how to fix a hole in a door. This will be a full tutorial for fixing or repairing a hole just like this one. This right here is a hole in what we like to call a hollow core door, which is basically a door that has like a door frame. The outside of it is a door, and then the inside is completely hollow, as you can see right here, okay? If you have a hole like this, they're easy to fix for the most part. It will take some time, but I've sort of broken down the steps to make it a little bit easier and faster. So you won't have to watch me do the entire thing. I'll show you each step. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a backing for the hole in the door. And to do this, I like to use just a thin piece of wood like this. This is just a shim that I've cut out. And you want to make sure any piece of wood, but your shim or any piece of wood is long enough to go sort of above and below the hole. And it can have a little gap on the side, it's fine. I mean, some people will put two pieces of wood, but I mean, as long as it's covering most of the hole, it's fine. You can also put it on an angle like this. I mean, as long as it can slide in there and you can adhere it to the back side of the hole in the door, you should be good to go. So what I like to do is I like to get a little small screw. I'm going to actually just flip my camera screen out so I can see what you see. There I am. I like to get a small screw just like this, and I like to place the screw, just basically secure the screw to, like, you know, sort of towards the edge of the piece of wood, just so you can maneuver it a little bit better. Okay, now this is a thin piece of shim, so I don't know, it might crack when I do this, I'm not sure. I'll show you what I did, you know, with the other piece, but I'm going to try and make it not crack. I like to use the screw to sort of adhere it. Just give me a second. I'm trying to do this while in my hand, and I need to apply a little bit more force, so I'm just going to do it on the door. So as you can see right here, the screw is allowing me to maneuver the shim. And essentially, I'm going to take the piece of wood, I'm going to slide it in there, and then I'm going to slide it up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on the edges of the shim to secure it. So just give me 1 second. I'll pull it out and I'll show you. Basically, you can use any glue. You can use wood glue. I like to use this, which is like No More Nails. And I would just basically take the No More Nails, and I'm going to put the No More Nails on this side and this side. I'm going to spread it out, okay? So there will be glue over here and over here. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to just basically hold it like this. And just let it sit, okay? So basically, I'm holding it in place. And I'll sort of give you a better idea of what it would look like. These edges with the glue are behind the door, but the wood is basically sitting like that essentially, right? But you know, we're basically going to be putting it in place and gluing it down just like that. And it's going to provide a backing. Now, what will it look like when you're done? Well, that's where my next demonstration comes in over here. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. This is what it's going to look like when you're done. So this is a piece that I did last night. I made a couple holes in this old door that I'm getting rid of anyways. Okay, so this is a piece that I made last night, and I used the No More Nails to glue it down. And now, as you can see, I have a good backing. So that's what it's going to look like when you've glued it down, okay? What you're going to do at that point is you're going to remove the screw, okay? So when you remove the screw, you can see I now have a good backing over here, okay? So what we're going to do next, I'm just going to pick up this screw over here. What we're going to do next is we're going to apply a finishing compound to that. Now you can use any type of finishing compound. I like to use like drywall compound. You know, I call it putty. I always say putty is my buddy because I essentially use putty for many different things, many different repair jobs. But you're going to apply a couple of coats of putty over that. So what you need for that is a putty knife right here. And you need some drywall compound. I have some down here, so I'm just going to place it on the putty knife. I'm going to try not to make a mess. But as you can see right here, I have it on the putty knife. You're going to place it over top. Now your first coat, the goal of your first coat is just going to be to just sort of fill in the majority of the hole and maybe get a little bit on the door. So just give me a moment over here. Okay? We're just going to apply some putty like this. You want to fill in the hole, and you want to get a little bit on the door, okay? So that would be my first coat right there, okay? I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to apply additional coats until the hole is like smoothed over, okay? Now the more putty that you apply, the longer that it will take to dry. So keep that in mind, okay? So it's going to take a few coats, but what you're going to be left with, once you've applied a coat, let it dry, applied another coat, let it dry, what you're going to be left with is something like this. Now this right here is basically a few coats of putty that have almost fully dried. Now when you're at this stage, all you need to do is sand it down to make it smooth. Now I am in my basement, so I'm not gonna go crazy with this. Because I don't want to make a massive mess, okay? But I'm gonna show you the basics of sanding. Essentially, you just need some sandpaper. You can get just, relatively fine sandpaper. Now what you want to do is you want to sand off all of these bumps. Now this is just slightly wet in the middle, so I'm not going to really be sanding the middle, but you would be sanding the entire thing. You want to sand off these bumps. So check this out over here. If I sand this over here, you can see that the bumps on this side are now gone, okay? There are ridges over here, the bumps on this side are now gone. So you're going to sand off all the bumps, and then when you get to the edges, you want to just lighten up your pressure a little bit. So essentially, you can feather it out, okay? So check this out. Essentially, what I've done now is on this side, I've almost sanded it to the point where it would be good to go, okay? So you can see right here, big difference. Ridges, all rough at the edges, and this is flat and feathered out at the edge, okay? So you want to do that for the entire area. And when you're done, at that point, you can paint the door. And you've now patched the hole in the door. So it's really a relatively simple process, but basically you want to make sure that you are doing each step, and make sure when you're applying your putty, your drywall compound, that you're letting it dry each time, and you're applying enough so that it's sort of complete. You don't have like an indent in the middle. You want it to completely cover it, just like this. I also have another example down here. This is a little bit of a bigger example, but you get the idea. So that is essentially it. That is basically how to fix a hole in a door. You start off with the hole. You want to get your shim with your nail, and you want to sort of hold it in place and glue it in place. Let that glue dry. Then you're going to be left with what was here before. Okay, once it's dried up, go over with a few coats of drywall compound. Once that drywall compound is nice and dry, sand it down. Once that's done, paint it over, you're good to go. That's it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.